Drakeo would spend 10 months in jail before eventually being released on bail in November 2017. And as soon as he's released from jail, Drakeo gets out and spends around 10 days in the studio recording 16 tracks for his new mixtape, Cold Devil, which releases on December the 26th, 2017. This mixtape was the biggest release of Drakeo's career to date, cementing him as one of LA's foremost independent street rappers. Pitchfork reviewed the album positively, calling it the most compelling release of his career, and Drakeo backed up the tape with music videos of the most compelling songs. Flu Flamming was Drakeo's flagship anthem of being a home invader targeting the Asian community, laced with tongue-in-cheek lyrics about Mei Ling taking him shopping. He had other classic tracks like Big Bank Uchis and Out the Slums with 03 Greedo, with the videos for these tracks racking up millions of views and cementing Drakeo's place as one of LA's most popping rappers. But naturally, this didn't stop the haters, as people like former collaborator Scheme were releasing diss tracks aimed at Drakeo shortly after his release, but Drakeo wouldn't let the haters stop him, and he would continue promoting himself and his career. On December the 14th, 2017, Drakeo popped up alongside his brother Ralphie the Plug for his first major interview since being released from jail on No Jumper with Adam 22. And during this interview, he touched on a lot of interesting things, telling Adam about his intense withdrawals going cold turkey from codeine-based cough syrup whilst in jail, and detailing his massive weight loss as a result.
Oh yeah, suffering, sweating, looking like a heroin addict in that motherfucker. Bitch, you gonna tell me? So you got a little scrutiny here. What you were doing in there?
She got at you like a crystal head.
Drakeo also touched on people dissing him while he was in jail, acknowledging that his former friend Scheme had turned on him, and saying that RJ had been telling his crowds to hate on Drakeo.
Scheme, who was your homie before? You had songs before with him, right?
Yeah, I know. And then mysteriously, like, I guess
Don't get it. No cloud. I don't know none of these.
A lot of people want to know about the beef with you and RJ.
Oh no, that before that he was going all over the town and shit, making posters and signs and shit at the shows.
Yeah.
Drakeo. He'd start off his show like, let me hear y'all say Drakeo.
Drakeo would actually go on to say that him and RJ settled their beef before he went to jail.
But yeah, that shit over now though. That shit over.
It's over?
Yeah,
like you guys talked about it or something?
Yeah, I seen him. He said that we both from the West and need to represent the West, and we both can't be beefing and all this other shit.
And he would end his interview by saying that he wants to stay away from guns and stay out of jail.
Oh yeah, I'm chilling, man. You know, no guns, no videos, nothing like that.
No guns in the videos.
And
That's a big change right there.
Super Soaker 3000 or something.
It was good to see Drakeo taking positive steps since his release, and from here he would continue pushing his career forward and racking up big wins. On December the 19th, he did a big sold-out show at the Observatory, and on December the 28th, 2017, him and Ralphie would release their new song, The Right Decision, where spray paint shown on a wall in the opening shot would reveal graffiti saying "Free Drakey, fuck too snitchy," a reference to the Stink Team member Too Shitty slipping up and telling a prison house informant the details of the Red Bull murder. But sadly, once again, this, just like many other references to street goings on in Drakeo's songs and music videos, would end up being used against him by detectives, with the public diss towards a cooperating Stink Team member apparently being interpreted by detectives as witness intimidation, which they tried to use to escalate the charges against Drakeo.
Somebody had tagged
Right.
Too Snitchy about a guy who was Stink Team that had given some information to the police. So they tagged the witness intimidation with a gang enhancement. So now these guys are facing life in prison.
So while Drakeo had spent the months between December 2017 and March 2018 focused on his career and building his fan base, the cops would be building their case, taking notes on everything that Drakeo said or did over this period, trying to twist it to use it against him. And it would appear that eventually they decided to strike Drakeo down once again, this time at the very peak of his career, as the mainstream media would finally pay attention to this LA legend in the making in a comprehensive LA Times piece covering Drakeo's come-up being published in March 2018. An interview ironically starting out discussing Drakeo's previous release from jail, describing his 2017 stint behind bars as an 11-month iron vacation for multiple counts of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. And in a tragic case of famous last words, with Drakeo saying in that article that he thought that his time in prison would have been much worse. Perhaps it was arrogant comments like this that had the cops itching to put Drakeo back into jail, this time under much harsher conditions. Because around 2 weeks after that interview had taken place, quite literally just days after this LA Times story went public, public, Drakeo would be arrested for possession of a firearm once again. Drakeo was brought to the police station where he weirdly said that the cops were playing his music, before then being taken to court where Drakeo said that he apparently had no idea what was going on, at which point prosecutors dropped the shocking bomb on him that he was being charged with first-degree murder, 5 counts of attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit murder in connection with Red Bull's death. These would be serious charges, and beating them would be no easy feat. But it wasn't just Drakeo in trouble. Other members of the stink team were arrested as part of this case, like Ralphie and Ketchy, who were arrested in San Francisco whilst on tour with Shoreline Mafia, with the cops apparently using their Instagram posts to locate them. And Ralphie would later elaborate being caught up in this sudden stink team sweep in an interview on No Jumper.
Wait, where'd they get you?
From San Francisco.
So you went all the way up there just to get arrested for shit in LA?
Thinking we cool, we Instagram, playing 2K and shit. As soon as we check in, they open the door, I'm laying on the bed, I look up, man, police coming. I'm like, man, this is bullshit. Homies laying outside,
right.
Towels and shit, no clothes on and shit. I thought I was supposed to be on tour. He drove all the way out there for 9 hours just to drive back 12 hours on the bus.
So with the stink team firmly behind bars, Drakeo would have to prepare for the fight of his life. A full-blown murder charge where the worst possible outcome might just be life in prison or even the death penalty.